Hello. Welcome to our podcast. I'm Tristan.
I'm Nate.
Today we're going to be doing NFL Week 8 predictions for the primetime games. So to start, we have the Thursday night football game between the Buccaneers and the Bills. The Bills are currently 7-point favorites. Nate, I wanted to get your opinion on the
Yeah,
Bills so
so
fast.
we know Thursday night has been pretty rough recently. A lot of difficult games that are difficult to watch. Really, the Bills are a very very good team. They've been a powerhouse since Josh Allen kind of came into his true self. The Buccaneers, I like to say they're more of a surprise this year. I've always believed in Baker Mayfield personally. Had a few down years, played through his torn labrum, kind of got screwed over for that. But now with the Bucks, he's kind of turning back to form a little bit. Right, their offense is 15th in passing. Their rushing game has been awful forever now. It seems like.
That's
So
2 years, yes.
yeah, so right now the Bills are 7-point favorites, and I really think it comes down to like offense and defensive totals for the Bills. The defense are 11th against the pass and 23rd against rushing, so they're kind of match up pretty decently there with the Bucks. I would say that the Bills' offense is just so much more explosive than the Buccaneers, and you're gonna get a lot more downfield passing plays with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, right? So let's see if the Buccaneers secondary can hold up against that.
Yeah, I mean, the Bills are definitely a team when they're hitting their ceiling. They're one of the best in football. They're
Unstoppable.
Super Bowl contender, but they don't always hit it.
Yeah,
Like last game, they lost to the Patriots. You shouldn't be losing to the Patriots at this point.
Mac Jones.
Yeah, I mean, but still, the Bills are a team that's very up and down. They're a team that's suffered through a lot of injuries. Tre'Davious White's out for the year. I think that could be a factor in this game, potentially having Mike Evans on a backup corner.
It was either Christian Benford or Kyrie Elam. And I know Elam
Yeah.
has kind of been not playing for them, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
He wasn't my favorite corner, but he was a first round talent. He got selected kind of where he should have been, and it's kind of weird that he's not playing. And the Buccaneers are the 20th ranked total defense, 27th against the pass. So I know who's last. It's the Chargers, my team, right?
Yeah.
So the Bills with their explosive passing going up against Carlton Davis, they have Anton Winfield. It's kind of weird that they're 27 against the pass when they have some really good players. I mean, that pass rush looks always solid on paper. The Vita Vea, you got Shaq Barrett, Joe Tryon Shanika. He's not bad himself. There's a bunch of different good pass rushers, but maybe they're not putting it all together. And it's Thursday night, so it's gonna be a slugfest.
I've always felt like the Buccaneers in general rely on their front step.
Yeah,
Their secondary does tend to get cooked, regardless of the amount of talent they have, because they do have a lot of talented young players. They won a Super Bowl a couple years ago, and that was one of the reasons. If I had to pick a team for this game, I probably would have to do Buffalo. They're in Buffalo. They have an explosive offense. I think if they limit the turnovers, which has been a question mark,
yeah.
I think they'll win this game because I don't trust the Buccaneers at this current state.
As much as I love to play devil's advocate, I still got to go with the Bills. Josh Allen is one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league. He's so much fun to watch, and I think he's going to give us a good show on Thursday. Hopefully the best Thursday night game we've seen in a while.
Yeah.
And Baker Mayfield's also a very fun person to watch. Someone I like to root for as well. And maybe Baker kind of has that dog back in him, and he comes in and he does something that is unexpected. But I'm going to take the Bills. I'm going to take them. I think my score prediction is probably going to be, let's do 24-17. It's going to be not super high scoring, but just enough to the point where the Bills are going to squeak out.
I'm gonna go 27 to we'll just say about 20.
Okay.
I think Baker's gonna make a few highlight plays. I think they're gonna be able to get through that secondary of the Bills. But I do think the Bills win. I think if they limit the turnovers, I have trouble seeing them lose this game.
Yeah.
So now we'll head on to our Sunday nighter, which is the Bears at Chargers. The Chargers are 8.5-point favorites, but our fellow Charger fan over here may not agree with that.
It's been a struggle. Justin Herbert broke his left middle finger, which might not make a difference, right? But since then, he has not played the same. He's missing deep throws to Keenan Allen constantly. And Keenan Allen's cooking DBs. It just doesn't matter if you can't make those throws. After losing Mike Williams, we're asking Quentin Johnson to step up. And granted, he is winning his routes. I've written all about this. He's winning his routes. He's just not getting the opportunity to show what he can do. I thought he was finally going to have his breakout game on a 20-yard comeback, and it was the most yards he's had in the game this whole year on one catch, and just didn't throw it to him again. But there's plenty of instances where he is wide open on slants, crossers, digs, doesn't matter. But to get into the game against the Bears are out. Justin Fields, they have the D2 quarterback, rookie Tyson Bagent, who he didn't look bad.
And it was against the Raiders, but he did not look bad.
But he did not look bad. And, I mean, honestly, last time the Chargers played a rookie quarterback this year was Aiden O'Connell, who is miles better than Tyson Bagent, at least in the college realm, right? So far, maybe not. But Khalil Mack had 6 sacks, and I think he had 2 forced fumbles. And I think we're going to feast on that Bears offensive line and offense in general. They do rush the ball super good, and a lot of that is the product of Justin Fields. And when you take him out, you kind of lose a good chunk of the rushing game. But they still have Deontay Foreman, who I don't know why he was inactive the first half of the year. He was good last year. He's good this year. He had 3 touchdowns last week. Of course, I played him fantasy, by the way. But they have I don't know if Khalil Herbert's back.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
I think Roshan Johnson's on IR, who's another good back. But either way, their rushing game is incredible, and the Chargers' rushing defense is actually, for once, not bad. But we're playing a D2 rookie quarterback, and we're 32nd against the pass. So are we going to actually stop this D2 rookie quarterback? Mm-hmm. Probably not, because we're going to play 8 yards off the ball and let them run and do whatever they want. DJ Moore, legacy game.
Yeah, I think the Bears in general, they started the season awful. They were probably the worst team in the NFL. But lately they've been coming on. DJ Moore's exploding. He destroyed the Commanders on that Thursday night. Mm-hmm. I'm not totally sure Justin Fields is going to play or not. But either way, I think they have a chance because the Chargers' pass defense has been horrific.
Oh, my God.
Absolutely horrific. Their defense in general is not good. I think a lot of that is due to Brandon Staley.
Exactly.
I think it's pretty clear that he's not getting the most out of the Chargers players. Chargers have some of the most talented players in the league. They have a good defensive line. They have Asante Samuel, he's a talented quarterback. James, and they're 32nd in passing defense. It makes no sense.
It makes no sense at all. And, to update you on the Justin Fields thing, he is questioned as doubtful. I read up. So,
yeah.
I mean, if he does play, that totally changes the game. But is he limited? Is he going to actually play? We'll see. But, when you have these talented pieces on the Chargers defense, you got to put it together. And a lot of it is just scheme. Obviously, Michael Davis is cornerback 1. Is not ideal, but at the same time, he was shown to do it before. And every time he runs, he plays in press where it's his strength because he's a size, speed corner, kind of like Tariq Woolen is. Well, definitely Tariq Woolen light. But when he plays at his strengths, he has, I believe, 2 pass breakups on 3 press plays in the last, last 3 press plays he had 2 pass breakups.
When they actually play him in press, yes.
So if you're playing him 8 to 10 yards off the ball, same with Asante Samuel, who's not the best tackler, though he's been better, you're expecting them to wrap up and tackle. And when you're playing Patrick Mahomes, letting him run out and just extend the play, and you're 10 yards off the ball, it's not going to do anything. And Justin Fields, if he's playing, you can get that same effect, right? If you're 10 yards off the ball, you know how much harder it is to stop the run as well? So there's a lot to change. Brandon Staley, I think, needs to go if we want a chance to turn the season around. But other than me ranting about the Chargers, I will still take them. I will believe in this team to the day I die, right? As 8.5-point favorites, I don't know. We don't win by 2 scores ever. It's going to be a 1-score game. It has been my whole life, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to take this game, and I think the offense is going to start clicking. We're going to put both halves together because it's not being talked about enough. The second half offense has been atrocious. I think we're going to score 31, and the Bears are going to have 24 off just crazy long runs, some passes due to broken coverage. It's going to be still a close game, but it's going to be more of a shootout. I'm taking Chargers by 7, 31-24.
31-24. I think that's a good score. I think the Bears definitely have a chance, like I stated before. I do think a lot of it is going to come down. If Justin Fields plays, which I know he's doubtful, but if he plays, I think they could beat him.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can trust a D2 quarterback in his second game.
Yeah, granted, he wasn't bad. But
yeah, he wasn't bad, but then again, it's the Raiders, and they find ways to lose to Jeff Saturday and Baker Mayfield after, what was it, a couple days?
I think 4 days.
Yeah, 4 days. So I'm going to take the Chargers. We'll just say 35-24. I think the Bears are definitely going to get some points. The Chargers allow so many yards, but I think a lot of them will be in garbage time because the Chargers are way more talented than the Chicago Bears.
And as just a slight caveat, as an underlining storyline of this is that the Bears are also 29th against the pass on their defense, and Chargers are 8th in passing. So if Herbert can kind of start going back to where he was with a broken hand and stuff, I mean, I'm expecting us to really tear it down the field. Mm-hmm. But if we're one-dimensional, it's going to be close. So I think it makes sense, our predictions.
I also think Justin Herbert has struggled with getting pressure on him, and the Bears are not good at getting pressure on the quarterbacks.
Yeah. It's been rough. Okay.
So now we head to the Monday night game, which is Raiders at Lions. I spent a lot of time bashing the Raiders, and I will continue to do that.
I like this.
Because, like Brandon Staley, Josh McDaniels should not be a coach.
Oh, yeah.
His previous stint with Denver should have shown to everybody he is not an NFL coach, and it's proving itself again. 27th in total yards of offense. Mind you, they have Devontae Adams.
Mm-hmm.
They still have Hunter Renfrow.
Don't
Josh
use him.
Well,
he's there.
I mean, he's there. Josh Jacobs has done nothing this year.
And he was the leading rusher last year.
The Raiders as a team are 32nd in rushing. I never would have expected that from Josh Jacobs. And Jimmy Garoppolo is not good at getting his best players the ball.
Is he playing?
I don't know if he's going to play or not. Either way, I'm not picking the Raiders. I just refuse. The Lions, they got destroyed last week. I don't know what Lamar Jackson was on last week, but I think he needs to be in MVP conversations.
I think so as well. I mean, we're kind of seeing him go back. Was it the 2024 or 2019?
It was 2019 MVP.
Yeah, I apologize. 2019 MVP. He's going back to that form. Against the Lions, he shredded that defense up. Yeah. And honestly, the Lions defense is nothing to joke with. I feel like they're very underrated. They don't really have like superstars. They have Aiden Hutchinson. And kind of outside of that, like, who is a superstar player for them?
The Detroit Lions in general, I feel like, have a lot of solid players.
Yeah, they're just a very good team.
They don't have like the top end talent like a Niners or a Philly.
Chargers.
But well, we're not going to talk about them. But either way, they're solid everywhere. I mean, they got C.J. Gardner-Johnson in free agency. I don't know if he's going to play or not.
Yeah.
There's just Aiden Hutchinson might be a defensive player of the year candidate. I think he's playing that well.
He's getting pressure like crazy.
Yeah.
He's like a Max Crosby out there, honestly.
Well, speaking of the Raiders, speaking of the Raiders, they don't like blocking for their quarterback.
Nope.
So I think Aiden Hutchinson's in for a big game. Detroit's looking for a bounce back. I have a lot of trouble seeing the Raiders winning this game.
I think Lions and Dan Campbell's going to come back with a vengeance. They don't take that type of blowout lightly.
Yeah.
They're going to want to come back and blow the hell out of the Raiders. And the Raiders are a great candidate to blow out a team. You're 4th in total yards, 4th in passing, 11th in rushing. Right, and this is like while you're still missing David Montgomery, a little bit of Jahmyr Gibbs, you're relying on Craig Reynolds, who granted is a great story, but he's still a third-string running back for a reason. Mm-hmm. And you're going up against a team who's good against the pass, right, but not so good against the run. I don't know if I know Jahmyr Gibbs is back. I don't know about David Montgomery, but Gibbs is back, so he might run all over this defense.
I think they need to use him more.
Oh yeah, he's.
I mean, the fact that they drafted him 12th and have refused to use him, it feels like, is bothering me.
Yeah,
I think they need to use him more with they have an elite offensive line. I think that's the best part of their team. They can
do anything they want. And he's just like Alvin Kamara. Like, he can receive the ball great. Speaking of the Raiders, Derek Carr with the Saints now throwing the ball to Alvin Kamara like 20 times a game. I have him on fantasy, so I'm not mad.
Yeah.
But Jahmyr Gibbs is very Alvin Kamara-esque, very slippery, very clean runner. Mm-hmm. And I think as a running back, it's not purely his strength. He's more of a receiver. But I would like to see Jameson Williams, last year's first-round pick, obviously kind of doing, you got injuries and gambling and all this stuff. But I tuned in for the game for like 10 minutes. I was at work, and I just see a huge bomb for a touchdown to Jameson. I'm like, he could do this, Yeah. And I feel like they really lack that deep speed because Amon-Ra St. Brown is a wonderful receiver. I think super underrated. I think he
is super underrated.
I think he can kind of follow a Keenan Allen career arc, maybe even better, honestly. But they're very similar as slot receivers. And Amon-Ra is great. And then they have Josh Reynolds, who's been really solid, surprisingly.
I think a lot of that's because he's with Jared Goff.
Yeah, they have that chemistry.
They've had a great chemistry since they were at the Rams,
And then can we talk about Sam Laporta? Oh my gosh, he's been so good.
Yeah.
I did not expect this. I kind of hated the pick. I'm like, this is like at least around early. Mm-hmm. And then, here I am, week 2 of my fantasy season. I'm like, I need him. I traded for him. I gave up a bunch of stuff. And this week wasn't great. But either way, it's he's been a really good key for this offense. And it's a perfect T.J. Hawkinson replacement, younger, cheaper, and might be even better at this point. Mm-hmm. That's arguable, of course. But anyways, right, this Raiders team is lacking. They might not even have Jimmy Garoppolo for this game. They're 32nd running with a great running back.
They're going to have an ancient dinosaur Brian Hoyer out there, probably.
The GOAT. And
Patriots backup GOAT.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of years there.
They're 30th in points per game, the Raiders, that is. And the Lions are 19th in points per game allowed, right?
They have Devontae Adams and just refuse to throw him the ball.
Yeah, and it's been rough. No Hunter Renfrow. Yeah. I don't know who Jacoby Myers has actually been pretty good.
Yeah, but it's still Jacoby Myers.
He's a very just solid receiver. Kind of like a Josh Reynolds. I'd say he's a little better, of course, but he's just a very solid B-tier receiver. So what's your point prediction for this game?
I'm going to be very, very mean. I'm going to say like a 40-10 game.
Oh, damn.
I do not believe in the Raiders. They suck.
Okay. I think Dan Campbell's going to, what do you say, bite the kneecaps off the Raiders?
I believe so. That's the other reason. Dan Campbell's going to have this team
juiced.
Yeah.
And well, hopefully not actually juiced up, but like you know what I mean.
Well, we know what you mean. We
Yeah,
got, we got, we
yeah.
got the
But
base. Yeah.
I think it's gonna be 38, and I think the Raiders are gonna have like we'll say 17 points. You know, they kick a few field gols. They kind of do their thing. They kind of do what they
Yeah,
want.
maybe I should go a little higher because they'll kick field goals instead of scoring touchdowns.
Daniel Carson, not bad.
Yeah. All right. So now what we'll do is we're going to go into some of our teams that are not very good and predict our lock of the week. The team we're most confident will win the game. I'm going to start with the Patriots going to Miami and playing the Dolphins. The Dolphins are currently 10-point favorites. I do think this game could end up being close. It was close in week 2. I do feel like the Dolphins' offensive line did not have a great game on Sunday night.
Oh man.
Yeah. So
Usually
I'm
don't.
not as confident in this pick as I was, we'll just say, yesterday. But I still feel like Miami's going to beat New England. New England has struggled to beat Miami in general. I think it's 5 of the last 2. It's 5. They're 5-2 against the
Okay.
Patriots.
Yeah.
And one of those losses was Skylar Thompson.
So how much stock could you put into that?
I think I have trouble seeing the Patriots even competing with Miami. So
Yeah, and for my lock of the week, it is the Ravens at Cardinals, and the Ravens are favored by 8. Of course, I'll be taking the Ravens. Cardinals have shown some life, surprisingly, with Josh Dobbs, and Kyler Murray might be back soon. I don't believe for this game, probably the week after.
Mm-hmm.
But even with Kyler, the team is not talented enough to really go anywhere. Marquise Brown has been great. Their defense have been struggling. They released Myjai Sanders, who was a third-round pick, I believe, last year, and that's kind of was a confusing release for them. And you got a weak team who's playing with a backup quarterback. James Conner's not playing. You're playing with either second or third string running back in Amari DiCardo, I believe his name is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just you're struggling. You're injured. You're not talented in the first place. You go against the Ravens, who just blew out the Lions, who is a super incredible team who are playoff contenders, possible even Super Bowl contenders. We'll see if we get there. But they're playing at an outstanding level, and they blew them out. If the Ravens can continue their streak that they're on with Lamar's streak and just their running game and everything that's kind of coming together, I think the Ravens are going to blow out the Cardinals. And I would look to see Lamar having a big game.
All right, so next we're going to do our upset of the week. So teams that are not favored to win, and they could beat the team that is favored. So for mine, I'm going to go to Dallas, and I'm going to say the Rams upset the Cowboys. The Rams have definitely overperformed at times this year. Oh, yeah. At times, it's like, okay, this is
what we expected.
Yeah, this is what I expected. The Rams are an extremely young team. They built late in the draft. They're probably like the only team that does that.
Puka Nacua is a perfect example of that.
Yeah, Puka Nacua was a steal. I think Byron Young's been good off the edge for the most part. Kobe Turner's been nice next to Aaron Donald. And then they have players that they've been developing, like Ernest Jones.
Ernest Jones is good.
I like Ernest Jones a lot. I think he's...
Kyron Williams.
Yeah, Kyron Williams.
Hurt, but...
He's hurt.
Well, he was great.
But our running game wasn't bad against the Steelers last week. Ultimately, what happened was our offensive line got destroyed, what you expect. I know a player you're familiar with, Alaric Jackson, did not have a good game. Alex Highsmith destroyed him. I think he had like a 29 pass block grade on PFF. He was bad.
Highsmith is no joke, though. He's underrated, super underrated.
Yeah, but I think the Cowboys' defense in general is a little bit weaker with the absence of Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah.
And I think with Puka Nacua, this could be a game where he shines.
And you have Cooper Kupp still?
We still have Cooper Kupp.
Okay, just making sure he's healthy.
Yeah. 2-2.
He'll make a touchdown?
He'll make a couple big plays occasionally. I think a lot of it's going to come down to, can that Rams line hold up in pass protection?
Micah Parsons ain't no joke. DeMarcus Lawrence ain't no joke. There's their D-line, Osi Odigizua out of UCLA, I believe. He was a third-round selection a few years ago. He's really coming into his own as a pass rusher.
Yeah.
They're really, overall, just really well-rounded as a defense. But their secondary, Deron Bland is playing out of his mind since Trayvon Diggs has gone out. Mm-hmm. But Stephon Gilmore is kind of old, a shell of what he once was. Yeah. And, if Cooper Kupp's going to take Deron Bland, that's still a winning matchup for you guys. Plus, if Nakua's on Gilmore, you're asking a generational difference, really, in age and to cover each other. So I think it'll be a fun matchup, and I think that's a fair lock.
Yeah, I would say it really is going to come down to the pass rush. If the Cowboys get a lead like they have been, then this could be a blowout. No question about it. But I think if the Rams can get ahead, they have a chance.
Yeah.
They really do. If they can take Cowboys pass rush out of the game and start running the ball more effectively, I think the problem with the Rams is they don't stick with the run on offense either. I think if they can continue to do that, I think the Rams have a good chance against Dallas, and we'll see what happens on Sunday.
And as for my upset of the week, we have Eagles at Commanders. The Eagles are favored to win by 8 points, but I'm going to take the Commanders. This one's a little shaky. I'm not extremely confident in it, but the Commanders will always give the team they're playing a ball game, right? Just like the Chargers always will give a team a ball game, play up to the expectation, right? Commanders and Sam Howell. Listen, Sam Howell's getting a lot of flack. He's taking a lot of sacks as well. But other than the sacks, he's a great deep ball thrower. He can really move. He has some wheels on him. He has a really talented receiver core. Offensive line is okay on paper, but it's been rough for them. Sam Cosmi is a solid player, but if there's other things they need to work on. But as receivers, you got Terry McLaurin. Jahan Dotson has been disappointing, which I did not see coming. Curtis Samuel has been great. De'Ami Brown is underrated. Dax Milne, who's I believe the return man, I think has talent. He was one of my draft favorites a few years ago. And overall, they're a solid group. Logan Thomas is no one to mess with. So I think it's a solid offensive group, but where you're going to really win is that defensive line. You got Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne. You have Fedarian Mathis, who isn't even being used. So you have a lot of just really talented pass rushers. And if you can get through this really stout Eagles offensive line, you have a chance, right? But that is an uphill battle. Defensively, you got Jamin Davis, Benjamin St. Juste on the corners, Emmanuel Forbes being benched. It's still a mind-blowing pick to me.
You had Christian Gonzalez and you went with Emmanuel Forbes.
165 pounds. Just he's known for his ball skills, and that was in
Christian
college.
Gonzalez has been on the field. He's been good.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Christian Gonzalez was really good.
I couldn't believe he fell to, what was it, pick 17, something like that?
Something like that, I believe,
I could not believe he fell that far.
And you take Emmanuel Forbes, and it left me stunned, and it's shown to bite them in the butt,
Yeah.
And so they're struggling in their secondary. But you have talent. Your safeties are great. Cam Curl, Dark Forest, and you have other good depth pieces at safety too. That you could. Jatavius Martin's not even playing, but he was a second round selection that was really good for them. He can play some slot. He can play some free, some strong. Wherever you want him, he can play, right? And if you use this chess game and that D line really clicks on all four cylinders, Jonathan Allen was mad after this week's game. I use that. I feel you, man.
We can't repeat what he said.
Yeah, if they all click at once, Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Payne, and Allen, that is, all of them at once click, it's over. Like, that defensive line can really take over games, but we haven't fully seen it yet.
Yeah.
And what I'm banking on for the reigning Super Bowl losers, Eagles, right?
Yeah.
I'm banking on them struggling. Jalen Hurts kind of having an off game. AJ Brown and Devontae Smith kind of can't get on the same page as well. There's a lot of things got to go wrong because this is a very difficult game for the Commanders. But the Commanders have shown to be able to play at the high level that they can be at their ceiling. And if Riverboat Ron and Sam Howell can really put together a nice executed plan, I would expect the Commanders to maybe squeak out with a 3-point game-winning field goal.
Well, remember, they lost by 3 in week 4 or something like that. They beat them last year.
Yeah.
I think they have a chance. I think we saw what happened when you got pressure on Jalen Hurts against the Jets.
Yeah.
You got pressure on Jalen Hurts, he's not as good. Simple.
Yeah. He's a great runner. He is a very good runner. He's a good passer. You just got to really put in unique blitz designs and really start doing stunts.
Yeah. I think Washington definitely has the defensive line to be able to compete with Philadelphia. I'm not saying they're going to be better, but I think they definitely have the offensive line to compete. I consider this for my upset of the week. I think there's a really good chance for the Commanders this week, even though on paper, Philadelphia is definitely better.
Yeah. Commanders just play better than what their talent shows.
Yeah. And the Commanders did not play well last week. But I do think they have a chance.
They have a chance. There's a chance there.
All right, that about wraps it up. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
See you guys.